Hi, folks. Just quickly want to touch base with you guys before we kick off tonight's court report. Tonight's show is dedicated to those who were affected by the events in Boston and the events in West Texas this week. It has been a horrible week for America, but as a Canadian, and I know it's kind of weird to hear a Canadian talk about America, but I know you guys will rebound from this. You guys have rebounded from this in the past, and let's hope we can find who caused this and make them pay greatly. So this court report is dedicated to the people affected by Monday and Wednesday's events. It's time again for your home for everything court. This is the fastest show in sim racing, the CORT Report. This is your one-stop shop for news for the CORT Trading Paints Championship Series and the CORT National Cup Series. And now the guys who will bring it all to you. David Amboys.
My brand.
Chris Sweat.
Come on, baby, here we go.
John Dragonetti.
Bye, have a great time.
And Julian Bedore. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the CORT Report. I am your host, David Amboys, and I'm alongside Chris Sweat.
Hello!
John Dragonetti.
Happy endings cost extra.
And Julian Medor.
This poutine's delicious.
Oh, well, it's poutine, eh? I love poutine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, because right before we started the show tonight, John Dragonetti does not know what a poutine is.
It sounds like slang for female parts.
No, it's not. It's almost as tasty.
There you go.
It blew early, folks. But no, honestly, it's a French Canadian dish.
Ew.
It's French fries,
Topped with brown gravy and curd cheese.
Yes, it is. It's delicious, and then you can add more things into it.
It's usually actually better if they don't use curd cheese. They just use mozzarella cheese.
It looks like something a bird ate and then regurgitated.
Okay, now come on. That's hurtful.
See, bad. Curd cheese makes it too salty.
That is very true, because it's got to be preserved. So
Yeah.
If you just use regular old mozza cheese or even like Gruyere cheese, oh, that's so good.
yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Some people toss some hot peppers in there. You start getting crazy stuff.
Ketchup, pulled pork on a poutine.
Oh my god, pulled pork. It's delicious.
Alright, nonetheless.
Yeah, we sorry about that, folks. We're here to talk about CORT. And CORT had their first race in the CORT 120 format with the road course at Okayama, and Thomas Morris brought home the win. And as was said at the top of the show is dedicated to the unfortunate bombings in Boston and the plant explosion in Waco, Texas, West Texas, last night. So our prayers were with them when we ran on Monday. But Thomas Morris got the win over Scott Olsen.
Yeah, and it was a back and forth little battle between both of them. Unfortunately, in the end, I think Scott had a little bit of issues with pit strategy and had to pit late, and that kind of cost him what would have been an incredibly dominating win. He led 29, almost 30 laps.
Yeah, we ended up finishing 60 laps in the event in the 1 hour and 20 minute format. Why don't we go ahead and run down the running order? It's brought to you by CORTRacing.com, the official home for everything CORT.
We did 60 laps.
Yeah, we did 60 laps. It's amazing.
Wow. I didn't keep track of
number.
the time. I didn't keep track of the laps.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were focused on that clock there, down on the pit lane. Thomas Morris got the win, as we said. Scott Olsen, unfortunately, fell victim to pit strategy, but a guy who kind of snuck into the podium with a third place finish and an exciting battle all the way to the end, Tyler Tucker.
He was pretty quiet all race. We had a little bit of a trouble there early, and we had to sit out and watch. And his car was lightning fast. I don't honestly know where he came from. I know he battled Hayes for a while there, but I don't know if it was on a late pit stop or what, but he pulled ahead to third, and I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, him and Hayes ran pretty much nose to tail for a good portion of that race.
Yeah, Andrew Hayes came home fourth, and hey, it's a lot better than the way his season started last season.
I think you can't really argue with that. He's just figured it out. I mean, that's all you can really say. He's figured it out.
Figured it out.
Figured it out.
Figured it out.
Absolutely.
Tim Silliman came home fifth after leading 12 laps in the event. Started third, came home fifth, and was definitely was a nice little cap onto the points-paying win that he had last week at Phoenix.
I think pitch strategy kind of bit Tim in the end, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I believe he didn't time his fuel stop right at the beginning, and you're just downhill from there. Alex Boffley and Tim Silliman, actually. Alex Boffley, the man who finished sixth, had a little bit of a confrontation at the end of the race. I believe Alex said that Tim was blocking him or something. I personally haven't reviewed the incident, but well, how about that?
I think it was the other way around.
Oh, well, Alex
I think it was
blocking Silliman?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
See, the issue with these road course races is it's tough to follow what's going on. Case in point, Julian, you came home seventh.
You ran pretty well in practice and qualifying and just kind of was minding my own business there at the beginning and just had to deal with pressure and I couldn't deal with it. Spun out. It just was set me near the back for the good portion of the race and really sucked because I got off sequence with pit stops at everybody and I was able to catch Hayes and Tucker, but because of being off sequence I had to pit and it just kind of put me back around seventh. I would have been looking at a fourth or fifth place finish, I think, otherwise.
Mike Husby. Congrats, Husby. He was the first car one lap down, the only car one lap down for that matter. Came home eighth.
Well, congrats.
Congrats, Mike.
Congratulations, Husby.
Cody McCorkle finished ninth. I finished 10th. It was just a night where we just kind of wanted to get the hell out of Japan. Just not gelling the entire race weekend. Really just wanted to come back to North America.
I think you could say that from like ninth on down.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough flight over the Pacific for a lot of these drivers. Joseph Cervone, as we go to the second page, Joseph Cervone came home 11th.
Quiet race for him. Did he finish?
Yeah, he finished.
Yeah, he was having trouble, but he toughed it out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's your two.
Yeah.
Sean Brightsman, or Kyle Young, I should say. Kyle Young finished 12th.
And
Kyle,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think Kyle kind of got frustrated. He's been frustrated a lot lately with just, his luck's been in league races.
Yeah, I believe him and Cervone got involved early on, and that kind of put him behind the 8 ball for the remainder of the night. Sean Brightsman in the CORTRacing.com car, he came home 13th.
It's not a bad run.
I think he was running towards the front for a while. Didn't something happen where he got caught up in an accident or something?
Yeah, I think he clipped somebody. I don't know if it was
defending points champion Eric Mickey.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. A buddy from TSTV who decided to make the trip to Japan to run, Sam Taylor, came home 14th.
That's not bad, and I think this was actually literally his first start. So I think he just came out just to log laps. So anything, honestly, top 15, just from that standpoint, is really, really good.
I believe we will see Sam at a lot of the road course events this season if he is not doing work for TSTV.
How many people finished this race? Because I know you were kind of going on about this being the most people that we had running at the finish.
11. Which doesn't sound all that impressive, but when you think it's an hour and 20-minute race, that's quite a few.
So that's the most we've had running at the finish of road course race.
Yes, I believe so.
Not just
I might need to go check with our stats guy,
Husby.
Porches, but we'll have to make sure on that. John Dragonetti, man, rough go of it.
Yep. That's all I have to say. I have nothing good to say. So.
And another person who had a rough go of it is the number one curse, Eric Mickey. Was started second, looked like he was going to be able to reverse his luck with that streak. Unfortunately, he spun it out of turn 4 on the opening lap and was behind the 8 ball the remainder of the night.
And I was going to say, and it all started on lap 1. And at a road course... Well, yeah, at a road course, if you mess up lap 1, you're gonna have to come back from that.
Which he was.
Oh yeah.
Just got into it again later on down the road.
Hopefully, he can change his luck at Indianapolis in 2 weeks, and we got more on that later on in the court report. Matt Harrington, he came home 17th.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he's had kind of bad luck ever since he started his own venture, but, you know, I think he wasn't really clicking with this track anyway, and he's really looking forward to just, just getting out of Japan. Like we mentioned before, a lot of people are just like, let's just get out of here. Him included.
There were a lot of drivers struggling with the track, and Chris Sweat was one of those.
I voted for Daytona, so you know what my thoughts are.
He just made the trip because of sponsor commitments and just was... Sorry, Chris, you just didn't have the best night. Will Roberts came home 19th, and, he did struggle at the road course at Okayama. Unfortunately, he just didn't have a good night. As you know, Will was scheduled to not run the roadies until his win at Homestead kind of changed all that. And it actually really shortened up the point standings, which we'll look at in just a minute.
Assuming he's going to run all the roadies now and make it his focus to run for the championship in Trading Paints.
Who knows?
Because I know he's not going to run the full season in Cup. That's kind of weird. I don't know.
And rounding out the field, a man who just seemed to be a magnet for trouble, Patrick O'Toole.
Yeah, he just didn't have a handle on the car all weekend, unfortunately.
Alright, moving on to the point standings for the CORT Trading Paints Championship Series. And like I said, Will Roberts finishing out of the points definitely tightened things up. Julian, you're only 5 back. Andrew Hayes and Thomas Morris in a tie for 3rd, 6 back. Actually, it's Hayes, Morris, and Silliman in a tie for 3rd place. Tyler Tucker's 6th. Scott Olson 7th. Pete Engamanis, despite not making the event at Okayama, is 8th. Mike Husby 9th. And Alex Boffoli 10th. Bump day is Monday for the CORT Trading Paints Championship Series, and this is going to be a very exciting day on Monday.
I'll tell you, I'm looking right now at our little monitor that's off to the left here, watching the carb day practice, and Husby's on top right now with an average time of 40.475. And, the cars look surprisingly stable. I think it'll be interesting to see if we can make them quicker going into Monday.
I'm really excited. I'm actually itching to get out of here so I can hop in my ride and get out there and turn some laps myself. But I think it's a new deal for us this year. We have enough people to do this, like enough people signed up, and it makes it a little more intense. I mean, even people locked in, you still want to put down a fast time to just kind of prove why you're there. It's definitely exciting, and I think it's going to be very interesting.
For you guys that ran the practice the other night, I have to ask, what's the setup like? What's the drive like this year?
It's very stable. It's very, very stable. Obviously, I had a great car underneath me, but the setup itself is they hit the nail right in the head with this one.
Yeah, it's significantly better than last season.
Yeah, right out of the trailer. It just drives. It drives well. It handles well.
Does it drive like similar in the draft as it did last year?
Yeah.
Get the slingshots.
Oh yeah, not as much.
That might need to change.
Don't know.
I know we're getting a new build on Tuesday, and they're gonna look at the drafting. But
I wasn't doing much drafting.
Yeah, there wasn't all that much drafting. It was mainly qualifying runs when we ran it, but by yourself feels great. Feels great.
I feel like my team is definitely right on target for this. So
Yes, right on target. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? We might have a guest here in a minute. Not sure yet. But if we do, we will have that guest. If not, we've got CORT National Cup Series at Las Vegas to cover. So why don't we go ahead and take our break? CORTRacing.com. It is the CORT Report.
Their race is not political. It isn't between teams or cars or sponsors. Their race has nothing to do with tradition, history, and TV ratings. It isn't decided in headlines or boardrooms. It is a race that only they can create, and it cannot go on without them. It is 500 miles that won't even exist until the first of these men crosses the finish line. For this is a contest between men, the best in their sport, and it is defined by speed, time, and distance. Not the place, not the track. It is a race between their fears and their dreams. And that race belongs to no one but them.
Hello and welcome back to the CORT Report, and we are here, and we are live with Mike Husby, who is over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway getting some practice laps in. Hey Mike, you're top of the charts right now. How's the car feeling?
Well, actually, we just got knocked off the top by Alex Buffoli, but it feels pretty fast so far, but we're going to try a couple more runs here later on and see what we can get.
Yeah, Mike, you come into Indianapolis. You've won the last CORT event there, the CORT National Series Indy 200 or Brickyard 200 last season. Looking to repeat next week when the CORT National Cup Series heads to Indianapolis. What have you gotten a chance to drive it with the new Gen 6 platform? How's it feel? That if so, how's it feel, or how do you expect it to feel?
Well, I haven't actually got any laps on the track yet with the Gen 6, but we're gonna see what it's like, but I'm expecting it to be a little bit, well, obviously faster, but probably a little bit looser around the corners, but we'll see what happens. I am looking forward to it, though. I'm gonna try and do my best to repeat, and hopefully we can do it.
Now, the testing that you've done so far, what's the biggest issue or the biggest problem that you see, I guess, not yourself, but everyone else facing going into bump day or carb day on Monday?
I've noticed a lot of guys like to try and make the track smaller, I guess, by running right around the bottom, even on the straightaways. But honestly, that doesn't help. The big key is to be smooth. And if you can be smooth, you're going to be fast.
Yeah,
go ahead. I was just going to ask, in terms of, I guess, difficulty, how do you see this race compared to what it was last year?
Honestly, even at Vegas or yesterday, the competition level is so high now that people are going to have to be right on top of their game to be at the top of the chart, basically, and to be able to run with the leaders, because everybody's stepped it up this season, and it's going to be a really competitive race, I feel.
Mike, you find yourself in the top 10 in both series, both the National Cup Series and the Trading Paints Championship Series in points. What's the key to success moving forward into this season as we've just gotten it underway?
Well, actually, I've had some pretty cruddy luck so far this season, but hopefully we get that turned around. But and that actually kind of started at Vegas yesterday. But right now, I'm just gonna try and get out of the hole I'm in, or started myself in both races, both first races of the season. Because at Homestead, I kind of lost my brain on turn one, I guess. and shut my car off and forgot that these things don't start back up. So I ended up 2 laps down and kind of put myself in a hole right from the very beginning. And then we had issues, obviously, at Daytona, so I'm just trying to get out of a hole right now.
All right, Mike, who gets it going for you?
Just like to thank Elliott's Collision Service, obviously, for sponsoring us in the Cup Series, and Delphi has been a big supporter of us in the Trading Paint Series, so just gotta thank those guys for
helping you out.
For helping me out, yeah.
Yeah, all right. It's clear that you're being told to get back in the car and get some more laps in, so we're gonna let you go. All right, Mike?
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, so that was Mike Husby, driver of the number 6 in both the CORT Train Paints and CORT National Cup Series. When we get back, we will start with our review of the Las Vegas event for the CORT National Cup Series, the MGM Grand 300. We'll be back. CORTRacing.com. This is the CORT Report.
Survival's all about keeping your cool. So whose antiperspirant will make them the last man standing? Step into the simulated Arctic environment. Cubby, add the Wolverines. New Everest from Degree has a fresh scent and twice the sweat-blocking power, which helps mask the smell of fear during Wolverine attacks on icy terrain. Still looks cool and dry. Sure does, Bear. Try New Everest from the Degree Adrenaline Series.
Bath savings are on at Menards. Stop in for super low prices on a wide assortment of Elger bath products. Drop-in sinks are just $36.79. Toilets start at $59. Bring quality into your home with patio doors from Pella. The ProLine wood sliding door is ready to install with maintenance-free exterior. Now $625. Springtime savings are yours at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hello, welcome back to the CORT Report, CORTRacing.com. Here we go with the review for the CORT National Cup Series at Las Vegas, and it was a very, very interesting race. The first race with the Gen 6 platform on the 1.5 mile at Las Vegas, and one heck of a show put on by Dakota Airman and Sean Brightsman. Dakota led 101 laps on his way to the victory, the last victory for the foreseeable future in the number 14.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet seeing that come to an end after everything that's happened over the past couple weeks. And I think it's fitting that we end its 6-7 year run with a win. So as an owner, I'm really glad to see it sail off like that.
It's going to be strange to not see the number 14 at Indianapolis next week. Why don't we go ahead and run down the running order and the finishing order for the CORT National Cup Series MGM Grand 300. It's brought to you by JGM Designs. Sean Brightsman, he came home second, had a pretty good run in the CORTRacing.com Chevy, just came up one spot short.
And he was strong all race. He pretty much was the fastest car on the short run for like the first 10 or so laps, but I heard a lot of people complaining about burning up the right front tire, and he was no what's the word I'm looking for? No exception to that. Yeah.
Mike Husby, our guest just now, once again, thanks Mike for coming on the show, came home third.
Good run for the old Husby.
That's definitely a solid run for White Mamba.
White Mamba.
Congrats.
Julian, you add on, you back up your win at Daytona with a nice fourth place finish at Las Vegas.
Wasn't without its troubles, though.
That's for sure.
I got involved in a Say middle of the race wreck with my teammate, unfortunately, and spent the rest of the race just trying to get it fixed because I took a pretty hard hit, but somehow managed to kind of rally back. It's pretty much what I'm used to. Really, it kind of happens pretty much every race.
I know that feel, bro. I know that feel. Joseph Cervone came home 5th. Another good finish for the coffee.
You know what? Joseph Cervone is just quietly surprising everybody. He had a great run at Daytona. He had a great run here. Stayed out of trouble for the most part. And wound up in the top 5. It's just he's definitely continuing to impress me.
Second in points.
One thing that impressed me was that he was one of the few who could keep it going. You know what I mean? Just stay out there, keep logging laps, and make it to the finish. Brian Sullivan, the new driver in the number 22 K&N Fusion, came home 6th.
Didn't hear much from him, but in his first start, he definitely did a good job. I think we can definitely see some more things coming out of him this top 10 finish.
Definitely.
Definitely ran pretty hard. Good race. Was kind of a last minute thing. So hopefully he'll show up next week at Indy and put on another good show.
A man who was making his court debut, along with Brian Sullivan. I believe he did not run a race last season. Making his court debut and started from 17th, came home 7th. Debut of Kevin Bartelt.
Good run. A nice car.
Definitely a good run by Kevin. I mean, sorry, John, but Kevin is not one of those drivers that come over from L&R that I've raced with for years, and he's definitely no slouch. He's got a lot of talent, and we'll be seeing him up in the top 10 very consistently, I'm sure of it.
Looking forward to running with him again. Last time I ran with him was all the way back in 2007 at the ASRC, so it's good to see Kevin, a nice familiar name from back in the day, running with us. Patrick O'Toole, an 8th place finish for Patrick O'Toole.
Finished every lap.
How about that?
Kind of surprised, honestly. It's probably one of the first races in a while, since like Richmond at least, where he actually was pretty solid.
And you know what? He probably would have done a bit better too if he hadn't been involved in an accident. So, pretty good race for Patrick, gotta say.
Credit where credit's due. Good run, Patrick. James Gutta came home 9th.
A good run for Jim, and his last run there got caught with a speeding penalty, and that was kind of the story all night. After I wrecked out and made up laps I could, hopped up on the box to the 17, and just struggled with speeding. Bit him hard twice, or he'd been right up there, but came back, got a good run, and then got tangled up with Cervone, I think, with about 3 or 4 to go, and it just killed the car.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't get the finish he deserved, because I know he was kind of up in the top 5 there for a while at the beginning of the race.
He was a top 5 car most of the day. Tim Silliman came home 10th after being involved in an incident with, again, Joseph Cervone.
I think there were some hard feelings after that one. I'm not too sure.
Well, as team owner and as the owner of the 43 car, I can definitely say that he was not in a good mood leaving Sin City, but you know, I'm sure he'll rebound in Indianapolis and do well. Greg Netherwood, as we flip over to the second page, Greg Netherwood came home 11th.
Yeah, it's really a shame what happened to him. He was top 3 and would have had a 3rd place finish easily, and up until a little incident with, I think, Johnny. Definitely not what he was looking for, but I'm pretty sure he'll be glad to keep that saying whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Speaking on that, sorry, go ahead, Julian.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, we're going to go ahead and Johnny Williams came home 12th and again was involved in the incident with Greg Netherwood, and Netherwood was irate over the fact, but Johnny stated multiple times that he was trying to stay out of the way on that final incident, or on that incident there, about 3/4 of the way through the race, but was unable to stay out of the 57's way, and that ultimately cost his day.
You know, the thing is with these cars too, I find with the Cup car, even with the old car, is he was trying to stay up out of the way, and I think he got into the wall, and as soon as you get into the wall with these things, they want to go in every which direction but forwards.
Yep, absolutely. You got that absolutely right. Kyle Young, or Cody McCorkle came home 13th. Kyle Young came home 14th, and he had some rough luck as well.
Just not one of them racing deals that got him, and just know he's frustrated, but it's gotta turn around soon.
Yep. A lot of these people on this page of results had some rough nights. Let's just put it that way. And Chris, you're next on the list here, 15th for the old brakes machine.
Oh, it could have been a lot worse. Got kind of messed up early and killed the car, but they fixed it, and when we came back out, I think we picked up 4 or 5 spots, and then just couldn't go much further than that, and we brought it back in. It's all about points. We're going hard this season, and it's definitely not starting off the way we wanted to.
Now, you had a really good cause on your core panel. Real quick, I just want to touch on this. You had hashtag One Boston on the core panel. I had it on my car, and Corey Stevens also had it on his car over the events in Boston. We want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was just we got together with you and with Corey on a last minute deal. I know Energizer worked with you guys and Brakes worked with us. We just thought it'd be a great way to honor and tribute them. I know I believe you and Corey had the main parts on your car, but we just threw it on literally right before we rolled out on grid just to help support the cause.
Yeah, we still had our Energizer paint scheme, and we're planning on running that the proper scheme that was designed by designers back in the shop sometime later this season, but we felt it was appropriate to pull our sponsorship from the car for this week to honor the unfortunate events that happened in Boston on Monday. Corey Stevens came home 16th, and yeah, just had a rough break at it.
Not the finish he was looking for, not the finish he deserved.
He was running great.
He was running really good. He told me he logged the week between Daytona and Vegas, and even a little bit before we even wrapped up Daytona. He told me he logged about 750 laps. So he put down a lot of practice time at Vegas, and he was pretty hard on himself after last night. I just told him, dude, don't worry about it, bro. It happens. You're just getting back into things. You're doing pretty damn good for someone that's not used to these cars and not really used to iRacing. So,
well, I mean, it takes time. He'll come into them.
And I kind of think what happened to him is probably similar to what happened to Johnny, where he just got into the wall coming off of 2, and it was just a wild ride all the way down the backstretch for him until we got the 4.
Yeah, just rough go at it for Corey Stevens. Once again, just trying to get back into grips with these cars, and us switching to a much more powerful car after you've spent the tail end of last season running the nationwide platform doesn't help at all. Sean Burke came home 17th, and he led a lap, so good for that.
Quite nice for him. I think I remember hearing something about him just being dead on pit road, so something must have happened on the front stretch there that I missed.
Andrew Hayes, the open wheel guy, of course, here at CORT, the guy, came home 18th.
You know, Hayes had a good car, and I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. Right, he had an incident coming out of pit road.
Yeah.
Where he slipped up.
Yes.
That's what it was. And
I couldn't do it either.
He was doing it pretty good. I think he was just kind of disappointed at the end of the night. He kind of in the same boat as Corey. Didn't get the finish he deserved. With the same boat as a lot of people. It would have been a really good race if the wrecks that we had weren't big.
Yeah, it seemed like every wreck on the night took out multiple participants, and it was just plumb dumb racing luck, unfortunate. Pete Engemanis came home 19th, and Pete, I'm not gonna lie, Pete looked like he was struggling with that car the first run. In fact, I talked to him and he said, yeah, I was struggling with the car on the first run.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining the same thing. It's a handful, and after 10 or so laps, it just gets worse. And we unfortunately saw on his end it got worse.
Definitely, what we're learning with this car is that it really does take getting into a rhythm to, be able to be successful.
Yeah, and I think that'll come with time. The more laps that everyone gets on this platform, on this Gen 6 platform, I think people will start to kind of get better with it in the future.
I will say, even though we were slipping and sliding most of the night, the racing itself at Vegas,
top notch.
It looked a lot better than the racing at Vegas at the end of last season, because it was really hard to pass last season. And I know the restarts last night were pretty damn wild.
Yeah, especially that one where Greg kind of, I guess, got caught sleeping. Jumped it and then got caught sleeping.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it was just kind of a
He
communication.
He, I guess, anticipated it, and I guess Ehrman wasn't even ready to go yet, and he just went thinking, oh, okay. And just kind of went downhill from there.
And I came home 20th after a former employee took me out.
Sad face.
Oh, well, that has been dealt with rather publicly, but it has been dealt with. And I'm proud to announce that Chris Sweat will be driving my IndyCar effective at Indianapolis and for the remainder of the CORT Training Paints Championship Series season.
Woohoo! Oh, we're not doing this now?
No, just real quick. Go ahead.
Go team.
I'm the Lavender.
How about Intimate Dater?
Well,
sorry about that, folks. Just had an unwanted intruder in the studio. Let's apologize for that. But yeah, no replacement has been named for the CORT National Cup Series ride. But we are actively looking for a driver for that. What was the number 36 entry, and we look to fill that gap sooner rather than later. And sadly, we have to make a third page for one man, and one man is the Intimidator, Steve Lovender.
No, it's the Intimate Dater. You said it wrong.
Intimate Dater, my apologies.
Yes, you said it wrong. Get it right. I don't know what happened with Steve. He went up in turn one and come down after he hit the wall, hit me. I saved it. He didn't, and then he disappeared. This is not a good start for Steve. He's definitely a better driver in this, and we'll turn it around.
He did not have the first two races that he was expecting coming into the season.
Man drives a quick Alt F4 though. He'd be a quick draw in the Wild West.
Well, I mean, he did a good job. It would have been a lot worse if he didn't do that.
No, there was nobody behind him.
Oh, whatever. Okay.
Well, yeah.
It looked like he was in a pack, from what I remembered.
Looking at the points.
I know this because he hit me.
Oh, okay. Looking at the points, Julian, you still have the lead in the points, and you have a 4-point lead over Joseph Cervone. Corey Stevens, 12 back, along with James Gutta, tie for third there. Tie for fifth. Mike Husby is fifth. Sean Breitzman, 6th. Cody McCorkle, 7th. Greg Netherwood and Pete Engelmanis in a tie for 8th. Tim Silliman rounds out the top 10. The CORT National Cup Series heads to Indianapolis. Yes, believe it or not, we go to Indianapolis for our third race of the season for the CORT National Cup Series, the Brickyard 200. And Julian, you've gotten some laps on the hollowed grounds of Indianapolis with this Gen 6 platform. What's it going to drive like?
Drives really well, if I'm honest. It's not overly tight, and you can kind of throw it into the corners. I think last season the Nationwide car, the old Nationwide car, got kind of tight after a little while, or would get tight on exit. Don't really see that too much. It might change once we're in the draft, but it definitely runs a lot better than I expected. I thought it would be a handful.
Yeah, and it will be a very interesting race. That is this upcoming Wednesday. This Wednesday, which I believe is the 24th. Yes, the 24th of April for the CORT National Cup Series. And then they have next week, the following week off, before they head to the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. So why don't we go ahead and touch on a few things for team news. Chris has been, as I mentioned while we were running down the MGM Grand 300, Chris has been signed by D3, or David Amboy's Developments, for the number 89 target entry for the Indy 250, and then plans further afterwards will be kind of arranged. And Chris, it's a pleasure to have you back on the team, and we look forward to this one lasting.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be part of the D3 team, or whatever you call yourselves. I'm really excited to be working with Target. I think Target's a great sponsor. The car looks awesome. Car's fast as hell. And I'm looking forward to definitely Indy and see if we can go from there.
Yeah, looking forward to that, absolutely. It's going to be one heck of a show in Indianapolis next week, as the CORT Trading Paints Championship Series has Bump Day on Monday. And Bump Day is going to be very interesting, as there's not enough to knock anyone out, but there is a substantial amount of drivers that you're going to want to set a qualifying time.
You should call yourselves the Triple Deeks.
Triple Deeks?
The Triple Deeks.
Why?
Because Mighty Ducks.
CORT Ducks, I remember that being a thing for a while.
I was the left winger of the CORT Ducks.
You were the left winger for the CORT Ducks.
Go shake their hands.
The goalie!
God.
This has turned into a D2 quote fest. Morgan Murphy has announced 2 new entries for the CORT Trading Paints Championship Series. No idea if they're going to run at Indianapolis or not. The 04 and the 13, both sponsored by some sort of position in Honda. The Honda Power Sports number 13 entry and the number 04 Honda Racing entry are both looking for a driver. So feel free to contact Morgan on the forums if you would like to drive for him in the Trading Paints Championship Series.
Good.
I was going to say, I went from being the only Nova Scotian on here, and now there's 3 of us. Just between the last season and the off season.
It's a takeover.
Yeah, you're starting to invade us with your saltwater air and your proteineries.
Another little tidbit, Dave.
What's that?
This I went behind your back on this, and Target is going to be sponsoring me in the Freedom 50.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Or as I like to call it, the America 50.
America 50. Glad to see that our good friends up in Minneapolis are going to help us out and help you out when running the event on Sunday. I believe it's the day before the 500, the Sunday?
I think so, yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Should probably figure it out from running it.
Yeah, generally, you might want to know what day you're running a race on. There are no plans for me to field an entry myself, but things can change. I might possibly run, I'm not sure, depending on what's happening that night. But looking forward to it, nonetheless. I'll probably be there to watch and maybe race. Who knows?
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, John, I just want a clarification. With the 14 being quote retired, what's the number outlook look like for Smoke Racing?
Well, we're gonna keep the 14 just as like a sacrificial, ceremonial thing, so we can just kind of give it respect. But I'm switching back over to the 80. We're going to keep the 08 for Buffoli, and then keep it on the National Cup side for Buffoli and Riley to switch out. And the 7, we already have that for Ehrman in the National Cup Series. But for the IndyCar, Riley is just going to be using 64. So, yeah, it's going to work out. It's just going to work out.
Yeah, it's going to work out. And hopefully one day we maybe see the 14 back out there. But for now, it is a dark number. It is a retired number. And basically the way that's going to work is if you want it, we're going to consult John about it, and if he says okay, then it's good to go. All right, so why don't we go ahead and wrap things up? We've been here quite a bit. Why don't we finish this one up? Chris Sweat.
Don't.
Well,
nice.
Stop. Cut. Okay, might cut out there. Thanks.
Yeah. What
I don't know what the hell happened. Okay.
Yeah, what the hell is going on? We have 4 people in the studio, and now none of the microphones work. Like,
Hello. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
We got you.
All
We got you.
Okay. So don't miss out on Bump Day. I think it's going to be exciting. Even if there's no one to get bumped out, I think you're going to see some fast times and people trying some things to get fast times, and it could be interesting.
Yeah, and once again, just a reminder, it starts at 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern on Monday. We're going to have a 60-minute practice session and then a 2-hour open qualifying, but it's not open as in, hey, go out and run draft times. No, it's not like that. 1 car at a time, you get 4 laps, and if there's enough time left over, it goes to first come, first serve in line for the remainder of the qualifying session. John Dragonetti.
I think we're going to have to watch out for the National Cup race at Indy. It's a smaller track when you think about it from the standpoint of a tin top, so it's going to be pretty close to see. It's going to be interesting to see how close we can get these cars, not only in the corners but on the straightaways, going 200 plus miles an hour.
It will be interesting, and of course, last season it was the home of the race heard around the world by Mike Husby's glorious victory at Indianapolis last season. Julian Medor.
Just looking forward to the CORT Indy Fest. I think you're going to see 2 completely different races next week and the week afterwards. Oh, 3, but
Indy Fest.
It's really only 2 CORT races. But yeah, I think you'll see 2 completely different races, 3 completely different races. Should be really interesting, and 1 Boston.
Yeah, 1 Boston, and once again, our thoughts and prayers are with those who unfortunately lost their lives or were horrifically injured in Boston and West Texas. Unfortunately, we thought I personally had enough after what happened in Boston, and then we find the news that the fertilizer plant in Texas exploded last night, and that was rough to hear middle of the race.
Mm-hmm.
It was just unfortunate, but we got to keep moving on. Can't just sit around with your life. You got to go for it. So why don't we go ahead and get out of here? I hate to end it on a somber note, but on behalf of everyone at CORT Championship Online Racing Teams and all the drivers and teams, we pray for those in Boston and we pray for those in West Texas, and we hope those communities heal sooner than later. Thank you, and this has been your CORT Report for April 18th, 2013.
Bye, have a great time.
I can still see the light at the end of the tunnel shine through the dark times, even when I lose my mind. But it feels like no one in the world is listening, and I can't ever seem to make the right decisions. I walk around in the same haze, I'm still caught in my same ways. I'm losing time in these strange days, but somehow I always know the right things to say. I don't know what time it is, or who's the one to blame for this. Do I believe what I can't see? And how do you know which way the wind blows? 'Cause I can feel it all around. I'm lost between the sound, and just when I think I know, there she goes. Goodbye for now. Goodbye for now, so long. Goodbye for now. I'm not the type to say I told you so. Goodbye for now, so long. Think the hardest part of holding on is letting it go. When will we see nobody ever knows the reasons why. Bury it deep so far that you can't see. If you're like me, who wears a broken heart on your sleeve? Pains and struggles that you know so well. Either time don't, it can't, or it just won't tell. I'm not the type to say I told you so. I think the hardest part of holding on is letting it go. I don't know what time it is, or who's the one to blame for this. Do I believe what I can't see? And how do you know which way the wind blows? 'Cause I can feel it all around. I'm lost between the sound, and just when I think I know, there she goes. Goodbye for now. Goodbye for now, so long. Goodbye for now. I'm not the type to say I told you so. Goodbye for now, so long. I think the hardest part of holding on is letting it go. Where will we sing a new song? A new song. Where will we sing a new song? A new song. And you can sing until there's no song left. And I can scream until the world goes deaf. For every other word left unsaid, you should have took the time to read the signs and see what it meant. In some ways, everybody feels alone, so if the burden is mine, then I can carry my own. If joy really comes in the morning time, then I'ma sit back and wait until the next sunrise.